Hey guys, long time no see. It's been like years and years, but I'm just making this YouTube video. I'm doing a January 2025 wrap up. And the main reason is because I joined a kind of like a review points group. I'll link it down below in case you guys want to join. It's on Instagram and I can get points for adding it to YouTube, and I want my team to win because I am competitive. So this will be like a hot mess express video, but just bear with me. But I have been reading, even though I haven't seen you guys forever. So January, this book I didn't start in January, but I finished it in January, so I counted it. When the Pine Needles Fall, Indigenous Acts of Resistance. And again, I cannot pronounce her name, so Ellen Gabrielle, I'm sorry. I was sent this book for review, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. I didn't give it a rating because it is a nonfiction book. I didn't feel like a rating is appropriate for a book that's about a real life resistance situation. So yeah, I just thought that it was very interesting. If you guys want to check it out, check it out. But yeah, I'm trying to read more Indigenous books, so that was the first one of the year. And then I read an audiobook of The Butcher, so hopefully I'll be able to like remember how to put the little screenshot in here. That one was on, audiobook from Simon & Schuster, I believe, by Jennifer Hiller. I gave that one a 4. It was based on a true story about a serial killer, but he was a cop, and his grandson actually found out that he's the one who was killing people. So that one was really interesting. I did enjoy it, and I enjoyed the narrator. It was just good all around. And then on another audiobook, I read The Pretty Ones, again from Simon & Schuster. I gave that one a 3-star. I don't really remember much about it, to be honest with you. It was, again, like someone got murdered, blah, blah, blah. It was fine. Not the best. Then Impossible Creatures, I was sent this book. I was on a tandem read-along with a bunch of other people, other Instagram, Bookstagram folks. This is a middle grade, and this was super cute. It's by Catherine Rundle, and it had pretty pages, and it's about this boy, and he goes to visit his grandfather for the summer, and they're like, whatever you do, don't go to this lake. So of course he goes to the lake, gets sucked into this other world with like magical creatures, and he meets a girl, and then adventures ensue. So it was really cute. I'm keeping that one for my daughter to read when she's older. I gave that one a 4-star. And then I don't have this one because I lent it to a friend, but it was The Close-Up by Pip Drysdale. Again, I was sent it for a tandem read-along. It was like a mystery thriller. I gave it a 4-star. It was like about this girl who was famous, and that's all I remember right now. But it did have like text messages, and there was a murder, and I don't want to tell you what happens, but it was interesting. I did give it a 4, so it was interesting enough. And then I read And Then She Fell. So I did have an ebook, like an ARC ebook of this. It was one of my most anticipated reads for last year. And then I finally got a chance to read it, and I actually only gave it a 2.5. It wasn't for me. It was about, like, it's by an Indigenous author, Alicia Elliott, but she's writing a book about an Indigenous main character who married a white male, and then she moves from her like Indigenous family. I think she was on a reserve, and they move to like his white richy neighborhood, and she just doesn't fit in. And then she's postpartum, and she goes through a bunch of like postpartum issues, but it's also magic realism, which I didn't really realize, and that is like my least favorite. I need it to be one way or the other, not magic realism, not in between. I just can't. And that was for one of our book clubs. So that's all for that one. And then this one, again, I did read a physical copy, but I was lent it from a friend. So it was Follow Me to the Ground. I'll put a little screenshot. It's 4-star. It was like a really short story. It was quite interesting. It had like quite lyrical and beautiful writing. The story was quite like dark. It was about like a girl and her dad, and he like brought her to life from like the ground, and then she meets like a human guy who's married and they have like a little affair, but she wants to like keep him, kind of a thing. So that one was interesting. And then this was my other, like, one of my most anticipated reads. I got sent the arc of it. I was so excited. It sounds so great. Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. It's about a girl who owns a pawn shop, and you can sell your regrets at this pawn shop. And it's like cozy fantasy. It just, I don't know. I just don't know if it was like the wrong time for me to read it. I just could not connect with it. And it was like really cute at the beginning. And then it like got too fantasy for me with like creatures and they're going to different worlds and her, and there was a love interest and her dad goes missing. It was just like trying too hard and it just wasn't for me. So I will be passing that along to a friend. I gave it a 3-star. Then I read 2 more audiobooks. So I read Raised by a Serial Killer. That one is a true story following our main character whose dad is a serial killer, but her family just like moved all over the United States and they weren't aware, and all this like crazy stuff happened and they would move, and he actually like went to jail and wrote a book about how he like overcame jail and he's such a good person and all this stuff, but then he was like neglecting his family and like abusing his family and killing people. So it was just like very interesting about how family members of serial killers see everything, and then all of a sudden it just clicks and it was like, holy crap, that my dad did it. So just that one was really interesting. I gave that one a 4-star, so I recommend that one. And she narrated her own book, so again, I guess bonus points. It was very interesting. And then I did read another nonfiction. So I read the Matt Rife book, Your Mom's Gonna Love Me. I know there's controversy with Matt Rife. He has made like jokes and things that are inappropriate. But I followed him on TikTok for a really long time, or not even followed him. I watched him on TikTok because he would come on your For You page. I thought he was funny. I was going to go see him live, but his tickets were too expensive. And I did just enjoy the book, learning about how he was raised and kind of how he got into comedy. And then he did talk about that controversy and kind of what his opinions are on it. And then actually I read another audio, The Business Trip. That one I gave just a 3-star. It was about our main character, or I guess there's kind of 2 main characters-ish. One of them was living in an abusive relationship. She finally gets up the courage to leave this abusive relationship. We have another character who is, I want to call her like richer. She works for a company. They keep sending her on all these business trips. They look similar, they meet, and then things happen. I don't want to give too much away, but I feel like it was predictable until the ending, and then the ending was like something, like it was still predictable, but then the ending was something that would like isn't realistic at all. So it's like there's no way you could have ever guessed that ending, but it was so out there that it was like, I thought it was really stupid. So I just gave that one a 3-star. And then I had 2 library books, but I've taken them back now. So again, I'll put hopefully the picture there, or you can look at my Instagram. Garlic and the Vampire, I give that one a 4-star. It's like a cute little graphic novel. I read the second book first by mistake, so I thought I better read the first one. And it's just about like these little vegetables that are like, have human characteristics, and then there was a vampire that was supposed to be all scary, and they sent garlic because they said vampires don't like garlic, and it was just very cute, and I loved it. And then SFSX, so it was like Safe Sex. Volume 1 is called Protection, and it's like a LGBTQ comic or graphic novel, I guess, like a volume. That was really interesting. I saw it on someone's Instagram and I thought I would get it. It's very graphic, the pictures, but they're great. They're colorful. They're very detailed. And I want to continue on with that series. I gave it 4. And then I read Cryptid Club. I got sent this from the publisher, Andrews McMeel, so thank you for sending it to me. And it was super, super cute. It was like so funny. It's just like little comics. I want to see if I can find one. Like I laughed so hard, and it was like, if you like know who these people are. So it's like the Kraken. So like this one, it's like, release the Kraken. You're staying in timeout, Benjamin. So it's just like hilarious little cartoons about like scary creatures, and I had a great time with that. I also gave it a 4-star. I really liked it. And then again, a couple more library books. I read Woman World, which is a graphic novel. I gave it 4 stars, and it was just like, what would happen if all the men in the world disappeared and the world was ran by women, and women could like have their own babies and all that stuff. And it was very interesting, a great graphic novel. I liked the colors. I liked the whole story plot. It was great. And then I read the book of The Unnamed Midwife, thanks to Kat, Curiously Kat on Instagram, if you are over there. It is a post-apocalyptic story about a midwife, so it kind of gives us a little bit like in the past where it wasn't post-apocalyptic, and then what happened after and how she's surviving. And it was like in their post-apocalyptic world, women, or not even women. So first of all, any woman who is pregnant, their babies are all stillborn or they don't survive. The moms barely survive if they do. And then it's kind of like, so there's a shortage of women. So all the men that are still left in this world are like taking women as hostages, basically, or prisoners, sex slaves, essentially. And then because there's no birth control left in the world, they get pregnant and then their babies die, or they die, or both die. And then this midwife is trying to help people. She finds all these birth controls. She's trying to help these girls get away from these men, or kill the men or whatever. And then at the end, one of the characters actually gives birth to a live baby. So I just got like book 2 and book 3 over in my library pile because it was so good. I give it 4.5. Like, I'd recommend it. Kat really recommended it. It was great. Oh, the only thing that I didn't like, because it was like all these different stories and it gave us all this closure, but it's like, I don't know. There's just like one, like something that wasn't a 5-star, but it was really good anyways. And then I read Hope It All Works Out. This one again was sent to me by the publisher, so Andrews McMeel. This one just wasn't it for me. Like, it was fine. Some of them were like funny, but some of them, it just, the jokes didn't land. And I guess this author, Reza Farazmand, has other books that people who also reviewed it said were better. So I would just maybe skip this one and get the other books if you're into that, if you wanted to. And then I read, I put them in the wrong order. The Witch Boy. I found this one in a Little Free Library. So this is the second book that I've read from all those Little Free Library hauls, if you guys saw them. And this one is super cute. I, again, gave it 4.5 stars. It has kind of like trans rep, LGBTQ rep, diverse characters. It's about our main character, I can't remember, Aster, who is in a witch family, but the witches are girls and the boys aren't. They are shifters, but he doesn't want to be a shifter. He wants to be a witch. And then, yeah, same thing. We kind of go through that little growing up journey with him and we follow his life. And I hope there's more because it was so good. I'd recommend it. So grab it if you can. Then I read The Book of Purrs, and this one was super cute. Again, sent to me by Andrews McMeel. If you like cats, I highly recommend it. It's just like little, you know, little spook kitties, and they're so cute, and they're like funny little things. I don't know. I just love cats, and it was so cute. Gave it 4 stars. And then The New Girl, by Cassandra Caitlin. So I read a different book by her in December. It was kind of like her little joke book, freaking hilarious. I recommend it. It was called I Left the House Today, I think. And this one my daughter was like begging me for. She's in grade 1. This was recommended for like grade 7 or 8. And I was like, I don't know if I should get it for you, but I found it at a secondhand store for half price. So I grabbed it. It does talk about periods a lot in here, so then I had to have a talk with my grade 1 daughter about what a period is, so that was fun. But super cute. I'd recommend that one. And then, just in no particular order, I have a bunch of comics. So again, if you guys have watched me for a long time, if you're coming back, I always read a ton of comics. I'd go to Comic-Con every year in like the city by me. And then I stopped going after I had my daughter. So like 7 years ago. I haven't gone in 7 years, but I had a bunch that I haven't read yet and I wanted to get the review points. So I read Moon Knight. This one is kind of like a person in an asylum, and like he was fighting crime before that, and then people are like, no, you're just crazy, you're not a superhero. And I thought it would be better, but it was kind of like blah. So I don't know if I'd recommend that one. It was fine. Clean Room, I read book 1. I really liked it, and then I did enjoy this one as well. I like the artwork of these ones. Harley Quinn, I thought I would give Harley Quinn a try. Was this number 2? I think I really liked the first one. That's why I bought the second one. But this one was like all over the place. I didn't care for it. I think I gave it like a 3-star. Like the artwork is great, but like the whole plot and story is just like wild. It's like all over, literally all over. There's like a million different stories happening in one story. Didn't care for it. Ivar, Time Walker. This one was interesting. So usually what happened at Comic-Con, I would have like my list of books that I wanted to get or comics that I wanted to get, and then I would go to like my comic book guy, and he was there every single year, and I'd be like, what else will I like? Or if he didn't have the ones I wanted, he'd be like, you should read this one. So he recommended this one. These are by Valiant. I had a couple more, and they're just not my favorite. So this guy can like go through time, and he would pop out at like different spots in time. So it was kind of cool, but it just, like, that was probably my favorite Valiant one that I read, but it just wasn't completely what I like. Manifest Destiny. This is volume 3, so I have read the other ones. I forgot what they're all about, but once I was reading it, I kind of remembered this one has, like, it's, like, back in colonial times, and there's, like, indigenous people, and they're on their, like, boats, and they're trying to take over the land, but then, like, there's wild animals. So this one, there's like these crazy like bird monsters that like take over this island, but they find one and they can talk to humans. I don't know, it was a crazy trippy ride. Kingsway West, this one was one that was recommended to me. I don't know, I think this is the first book, or maybe it's the only book. It was kind of interesting. It's like, so there's like I don't know, what do you want to say here? It's kind of the same thing. Like, it's like colonial, but fantasy. So there's like diverse characters in it, but then there's Kingsway Law, who's looking for his wife who went missing. He's killing everyone, and everyone's heard of him, and he's like this big name. So that one was good. Girls. This one was also, I don't know if this was recommended to me or if I had it on my list before, but it's by the Luna Brothers. I really enjoyed this one. What was this one? Oh, I can't remember. It was just like this guy, and he runs into this like girl who he finds, and he thinks he's saving her, but then she like can like reproduce. So like she's like a clone, so she makes a bunch of herself, and like it's trying to take over the world kind of, and she can do it like by herself. She don't need no man. And then this one was also recommended to me. So this is Eclipse Volume 1. So this one's like post-apocalyptic. It's just saying like you can't go outside in the daytime anymore, because there was a solar event. So if you go out in the daytime, you like burn to death basically. So when they have to wear like these suits, and when they're walking along like here, you just see like fried people. But then there's killers who are like frying people. These people live like underground. So same thing, the artwork's just like a little bit darker because they are underground, but it's still like super detailed and super good, and I enjoyed that one. And there was a bunch of kid books that I read, but I'm not going to add them on here because this video is going to be forever long. So if you like the video, it's good being here again, good seeing you guys. Yeah, I'll do this every month. Stick around. See you guys in another video. Bye.